Hello and welcome, galuda7 here. I know it's been a while since I published a video game review, and my next one up is Sin and Punishment Star Successor for the Nintendo Wii. Anyway, this video is more of a pet project. I've wanted to make a compilation of my favorite video game cover art for a while now, so here it is. This will also be the first video I've done where I don't read off of a script I wrote for myself, so it's gonna be kinda improv, off the rails, etc. You will probably hear me say the words aesthetically pleasing quite a bit because that's kind of how I judge a game's cover art. I know you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. I mean, like, I've played some fantastic games with truly awful cover art. I mean, just look at this. Anyway, here we go. Here are 25 of my favorite video game cover art pieces. Let's go. So first up, we've got Echo the Tides of Time for the Sega Genesis. I have a lot of nostalgia for this game from my adolescenthood, but I mean, just look at that cover art. Isn't that gorgeous? And this is by the amazing artist Boris Vallejo. I mean, he also did the cover art for the original Echo, as you can see here. They really got the right man for the job. I mean, just look at that. And then next up, we got God Hand, a wonderful game. There really is nothing else quite like it. I don't know if I'm using this word right, but it's just a very visceral piece of art here. Just Gene's God Hand punching out some random thug. I mean, that's all there is to it. Now, I kind of wish they went with the art from the advertisements. I mean, look at that. Is that not just freaking awesome? Nonetheless, I just think it's pretty cool. And then we got the Japanese version cover art, which it's not really as in your face. It's just it's very minimalist, and I like that kind of thing. I mean, it's just his arm, the God Hand, just punching outward. Okay, so next up we got one of my all-time favorite pieces of cover art right here, Odin Sphere for the PS2. You got a fantastic and colorful arrangement of the 5 protagonists on the cover right there. And if you look at it without the title, you can see the 5 royalty figures in the game, including Odin front and center. And next up, another all-time favorite of mine. I'm very nostalgic for this because I grew up with it. Metroid 2 Return of Samus. It's simple, it's to the point, it is often imitated and never duplicated. I mean, first up we got this, an unofficial remake, and they really missed the point with the cover art. And look at this next one, this is official, and I just think it looks like trash. And next up, what is there to say about this? It is a classic through and through. I mean, just look at it. Okay, so next up we got Tokyo Jungle for the PS3. You know, there's just something I like about it, like the minimalism. I really dig it. It really just embodies the game. Like, you're a stray animal, humanity is gone, you're searching for answers, and you're just trying to survive. And unless you're doing 2-player mode, you are on your own. Okay, so next up we got a game that's a little more mainstream than what I usually review, Battlefield Bad Company 2. Okay, so 2 things I like about this art. The soldier up like front and center, I like how he kind of fades to like sort of a fiery look on the lower right hand side. And 2, here's something I didn't even notice until like years after the game came out. If you look at like the soldiers and the vehicles and stuff in the background, they all have like an internet looking kind of username above them, which I thought was pretty cool. Alright, next up we got Demon's Souls. We got like this knight just utterly defeated, their shield just covered with arrows. It kind of sums up the game pretty well because, you know, you're going to be dying a lot in this game. The overseas cover art is cool and all, I just think the Japanese one is just more artsy, I guess. Next up, we got Ori and the Blind Forest. I don't have too much to say about this one, I just really like the composition, the color usage. We got Ori in the foreground with his mother figure from the start of the game. We got the tree in the background. It's just, I like it. It's cool. And here we go. Final Fantasy VII. I am thoroughly convinced that at least half of the nostalgia for this game is because of the cover art. We got Cloud Strife in the foreground looking to open a can of whoop-ass on Shinra in the background with their headquarters up there. You know, back when I originally picked up this game, I thought that thing in the background was like a giant robot or something, but no, it's just Shinra HQ. And if you thought that that was a giant robot as well, just drop a comment. I can't be the only one. And you know, good game overall, a bit overrated, I think, but no matter what your feelings on it are, that cover art though. And here we got Phalanx, one of the most bizarre cover art pieces of all time. So in an era where every shoot 'em up had the exact same cover art with like a spaceship flying towards you, the US publisher of the game, Kemco, decided they were going to try something different. So we got Farmer Bob, as I like to call him, that's P-H-A-R-M-E-R, just sitting there playing the banjo while the ship just sort of flies by in the upper right corner. If nothing else, it certainly turned heads, due to having a very different cover art from all the shmups at the time. And weird cover art aside, it's actually a pretty decent game. And now we got Ico, whatever. You know, I didn't really care for the game. I don't like escort missions, and that's what the entire game boils down to, is just one giant escort mission. But look at that cover art, man. Just very, very abstract. It's just gorgeous. But let's all just try and forget about the embarrassingly bad American cover art. Ugh. From one beautiful piece of cover art to another, we got Panzer Dragoon, specifically the Japanese version cover art. You know, from the vibrant colors to the shading method, I just think it's really cool looking. Definitely a step above the US version's cover art, if you can call that art. And now we got Einhander. There was a time. Okay, I'm sorry, every time I see this cover, I just, you know, the intro monologue just comes right back to me. Definitely one of the coolest cover art pieces I've seen for a shoot 'em up, ever. Now, the US version's cover art is, I guess it's okay. I mean, it's just the usual spaceship flying towards you. But yeah, the Japanese version's cover art, it's the title screen image, it's the cover of the strategy guide / art book, which I actually have. It's really cool. It's very iconic. And here we go, Devil May Cry, specifically the Japanese cover art. It's just very in your face. You know, we got Dante busting down a door, you know, gun pointed right at you, waiting to bust a cap in your ass. The US one is okay. It's just very mellow. It's just Dante just kind of sitting there with the sword and his guns. It's decent, but I think the Japanese one just sums the game up a lot better. Alright, next up we got possibly the best fighting game cover art ever made, Street Fighter Alpha 2. We got Ryu and Akuma just staring each other down at the weigh-in. And we got Sakura's face kind of transparent in the background there. And now here's one that I think is probably relatable to more than a few people, the US version of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Just look at that. We got Sonic and Tails just standing heroically in the foreground, ready to kick some ass. We got Dr. Robotnik just looming in the background, just grabbing the 2 on the cover and just like crunching it in his hand. It is so iconic that the poster image for the second Sonic the Hedgehog movie pretty much copies it right down to a T. You know, maybe I'm just biased, because my stepdad and I played the hell out of Sonic 2 back in the day. We'd take turns playing as Sonic and Tails because, you know, there was like co-op. Now we got Rengoku, the Tower of Purgatory for the PSP. I know I touched upon this in my review of Rengoku 2, The Stairway to Heaven. Best thing about the original Rengoku was this cover art. I mean, you can't tell me that's not metal. The US version's cover art is, well, is about as good as the game itself. It's kind of meh at best. But yeah, the Japanese cover, we got this like robot skeleton dude with a sword, and he's got like a revolver coming out of his head. Again, metal. And now the moment I'm sure at least some of you have been waiting for, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, a classic piece by Ayami Kojima. Now don't even get me started on why the f they decided to change the cover art to this for the US version. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this was actually Ayami Kojima's breakthrough. Now she's done the art for most of the Castlevania games after this point, but man, what a breakthrough right here. And now we got the Talos Principle. Any of you guys ever played this? It's kind of like it's a little bit like Portal with a bunch of like object placement puzzle solving. So we got this robot on the cover just kind of gently holding this cat. Just something kind of like cryptic about it. I guess I just kind of like the contrast, the meshing between the mechanical and the organic. So this next one, this might just be due to nostalgia, but I believe it's again, aesthetically pleasing. We got Hatsune Miku Project Diva. She's just standing there, just front and center with her arm held outward. I actually have the figure of her in this pose. And again, probably nostalgia because I have been playing this, the Project Diva series ever since the original on PSP back in 2009. Next up we got The Void. This is actually a very weird, Russian first-person adventure in like an afterlife kind of setting. And something about it. We got this woman in kind of like a dynamic sort of pose. We got like paint, I guess, kind of just splashing out of her hair. Very, very abstract. I dig it. Now we got Radiant Silvergun. And there's just something about this cover that just screams classic. We got the two main characters' spaceships just kind of flying up. We got this sunset in the background with like a solar flare effect that just looks really, really cool. I know I dunked on shmups with just like the spaceship on the cover before, but there is just something really special about this cover. And here we go, the cover art for the original Yakuza, known as Like a Dragon in Japan. And I dig this because it's minimalist, but it's very in your face. Look at Kiryu just like kicking right towards you. You don't want to be on the receiving end of that. Now the US cover was okay, I guess. You know, we got Kiryu with his back tattoo facing away from the POV. It's cool and all, but I just think the Japanese cover sums up the game, like, just a lot better. And a shout out to a friend of mine. He is a very huge Yakuza fan. He has almost every game in the series, so hey, what's up? You know who you are. And last, but certainly not least, this is my #1 favorite cover art piece, and I would honestly argue that it is one of the best of all time. We got Dodonpachi Daiojo, and it's a bullet hell shmup, because of course it is with cover art like that. So we got the player's fighter jet kind of crash landed in the foreground. We got the final boss crashed in the background, which I didn't even notice until just a few years ago. We got the jet full of bullet holes, including in the cockpit with blood dripping down the side, presumably the pilot's. And we got your robot co-pilot kind of just huddled up against the side of the ship. She's got battle damage, she's got wires coming out of her back going into the ship. It's very cryptic. It's just beautiful. There is nothing about this piece that I don't love. Aesthetically pleasing to the max. Anyway, brochachos, if you watched this whole video and are hearing this right now, thank you. It means a lot. I promise I will be back sometime this summer with new content, possibly my review of Sin and Punishment Star Successor. But anyway, peace out, have a good one.